2 years ago, I uploaded 10 minutes of useless Clash Royale facts. A solid 10 minutes of random information that I was sure nobody would sit through. But apparently I was mistaken, and after popular request, I followed it up with 15 more a year later. And today, we're back with more. Here are a solid 20 minutes of useless Clash Royale facts. The Monk is the only troop in Clash Royale to have existed in another game that wasn't Clash of Clans first, Clash Mini. The Fire Spirit is the only card in the game to have a name change in the English language. It used to be called Fire Spirits with an S because the card originally spawned 3 of them. But because the card was ass, they reworked it and it now spawns 1 spirit. The Mother Witch is based on a Greek witch from ancient mythology named Circe that transformed her enemies into animals. There is a unreleased Lumberjack emote that was teased in April 2019, but it was never added because it didn't fit the theme of the other Lumberjack emotes. But I think the real reason is just that it looks really sus. So far, there have been 11 temporary cards: the Barbarian Launcher, Party Hut, Party Rocket, Santa Hog Rider, Terry, and the supercard versions of the Archers, Ice Golem, Lava Hound, Magic Archer, Mini P.E.K.K.A, and the Witch. 2 of these temporary cards were actually inspired by scrapped card ideas from back in the day, like the Barbarian Launcher that was supposed to be a barracks-like mortar, and the Super Mini P.E.K.K.A, which was inspired by an iteration of the Mega P.E.K.K.A, which had infinite damage. Projectiles do not count as a score in touchdown mode, so not only spells, but also cards that are projectiles when in the air, like a Fire Spirit for example. The poison spell resembles a real chemical called bromine, which is a poison to humans if touched or inhaled. So if you were in Clash Royale, I'd stay away from it. In the Monk and Phoenix launch trailer, a royal recruit can be seen holding a royal scroll, the same scroll that appeared in the game in 2021 to tease the Clash Royale event. You may have noticed when the Valkyrie attacks, it kinda sounds like she's singing. Practicing for an opera? I don't know. Well, this is no coincidence, as this is a reference to an opera called The Valkyrie by Richard Wagner. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Skeleton Army is the only Horde card that has a different rarity than its corresponding basic troop card, as opposed to Goblin Gang and Minion Horde and Three Musketeer, which are all the same rarity as their basic version. The Mighty Miner, or as known as Chief Miner during its development, almost had a pickaxe as his main weapon, but it was ultimately decided to give him a drill instead, hence the name change. There are 9 cards that drop an item that stay on the grass when defeated, not including shields or bombs. These are the Golden Knight, Rascal Boy, Knight, Mega Minion, Dark Prince, Executioner, Mega Knight, Sparky, and the Fisherman. The Skeleton King is missing a tooth in the left side of his card image. However, this missing tooth is on the right side in his full render. This is most likely due to them just flipping the image. The Monk seems to have been inspired by an elderly hog rider that appeared in a cartoon short uploaded in February 2018. In it, the elderly hog rider is missing his hog, which may explain why the Monk doesn't have a hog in the game. In celebration of the Books of Clash, there was a temporary champion card added into the game called Terry, the main character in the book. However, he was only available to be played in the Super Champion Battle event for a little over a week. The Phoenix was released in Clash Royale and Clash of Clans in the same month, and even though their designs are slightly different, they share a lot of similar mechanics and use the same sounds. Funny enough though, it's referred to as a female in Clash of Clans, but according to a TV Royale, it's a male in Clash Royale. The spooky cursed hog emote is a reference to the Here's Johnny scene from the movie The Shining. So far, there have been 22 cards that have had their elixir changed: the Bomber, Royal Recruits, Cannon, Mortar, Elon Musketeer, Three Muskies, Heal, RIP, Bomb Tower, Barbarian Hut, Furnace, Elixir Collector, Skeleton Army, P.E.K.K.A, Wallbreakers, Electro Giant, Bowler, Goblin Barrel, Barbarian Barrel, Rage, Fisherman, and finally, your mom. No, I'm kidding, the Monk. The Super Lava Hound was most likely inspired by the Grandpa Hound from Clash of Clans, a hound that split into more hounds. This Grandpa Hound appeared only once in a troll attack in ClashCon 2015 between 2 developers. The bow the Magic Archer uses is called a recurve bow. The bats you see in Clash Royale are a common vampire bat called Desmondus rotundus. Sounds like a goddamn Harry Potter spell. The Electro Wizard was the first card to be introduced in the game through a challenge. The 3 notes the Sparky makes when charging up are C, E flat, and G flat. Together, it makes a diminished C minor. The princess on the Princess Towers used to have a silver crown. Today, they're gold. The Grand Champion and Royal Champion Leagues and the Path of Legends both use crowns from the Arena Towers. Grand Champion has a Princess Crown and the Royal Champion has a King Crown. Other leagues are also using various items from in the game. The Ice Wizard's description states that he has a handlebar mustache. You know, one of those things that look like a handlebar. But this is actually wrong since it looks like he has a horseshoe mustache. Every trainer in the training camp is in the same non-existent clan called Royal Trainers. The Fisherman has a card mastery task named Get Over Here, which is referencing Scorpio from Mortal Kombat, which also pulls his enemies in a similar way. The 4 original King modes were designed with the red and blue sides in mind. However, for some reason, the red ones were never used in the game. You used to have to pay gold to start a friendly battle with your clanmates. The Rider on the Ram is the only troop in the game that attacks only troops. Not counting temporary cards, the Sparky has the highest damage out of any card at 1,760 damage at level 14. However, it also has the slowest attack speed at a whole 4 seconds. The Princess has maintained the record for the highest range out of any troop since 2016. The first 3 trainers in the training camp have lower stats than a level 1, with 20%, 30%, and 40% respectively of a normal level 1. When deployed, the Super Magic Archer will say, "Hold up," and when attacking, often says, "Hold up," which means okay and explode in Chinese. The Hunter was originally a card that utilized a hook and bear trap. However, the card's direction went a completely different direction, and the mechanics were instead used for the Fisherman 2 years later in 2019. There is a log in the Builder's Workshop picture. However, before the log was released, the log in that arena picture had no spikes. It was just a regular tree log. Many other trainers' names are references to various things. For example, Trainer Fikova has the same name as a single-player map in Clash of Clans. Trainer Jonas has the same name as an employee at Supercell, and Trainer Austeri has the same name as a former lead developer of Clash Royale. Trainer Jason is named after Jason, the winner of the Clash Royale Helsinki tournament, and uses the exact same deck with the same levels as him. Other trainers have references to some of the cards they're using, like Trainer Dragon uses the Baby Dragon and Inferno Dragon, Trainer Rocket uses, well, a rocket, and Trainer Freeze uses winter-themed cards like the Ice Wizard, Ice Golem, and Ice Spirit. Trainer Shelly is the only trainer who uses the Hunter, a possible reference to Shelly from Brawl Stars, but some references are totally unrelated to Supercell games, like trainers from the Pokemon series. We have Trainer Paul, Gary, Red, Oak, Brock, and Clement. Another reference is that to the names of the 7 dwarfs, which are Grumpy, Dopey, Bashful, Sneezy, Sleepy, and Happy. Yeah, they're missing one, I don't know why. Since launch, there have been 4 different app icons. The original one, Special 2016 Red Event for iOS, 2020 redesign, and the 2023 redesign for Evolutions. Before tower skins were a thing, there had been 5 separate occasions where the towers changed their appearance, whether it was temporary or for a game mode. The first one was an iOS exclusive in partnership with Apple to help fight against AIDS. One of the packs gave you a temporary Red King Tower. In October 2017, an Elixir skin appeared for game modes that had increased Elixir production, and 2 Crown Tower skins that would appear in Gold Rush and Gem Rush, respectively. And lastly, in December 2017, a Crown Tower skin was added that had holiday-themed decorations. This skin exclusively appeared in the Royal Ghost Mirror Challenge. When the game first launched, you couldn't watch your friends duel it out. In fact, there wasn't even replays. All you had were the results of the match. Royal Arena, Jungle Arena, and Legendary Arena are the only arenas to have the word arena in their name. Years ago, before magic items, there were boosts you could purchase in the shop. Victory Gold boost, which gave you 300 gold each time you won a battle, Crown Chest boost, which doubled its content, and Chest Speed Up boost, which is pretty self-explanatory. There are currently 18 chests in Clash Royale that can be obtained. However, there are some that have been removed for different reasons. The Clan Battle and Clan Chests were won from events of the same name, removed in 2017. Super Magical Chest was replaced by the Mega Lightning Chest. Various Tournament Chests, which were removed when global tournaments were added. Draft Chests, formerly obtained at the trophy reset every season. Lightning Chests, exclusive to Pass Royale, like the Lightning Common, Rare, Epic, and Legendary Chests, which were replaced by magic items. And finally, the free chest. Nowadays, it can only be obtained through the tutorial. The maximum amount of star points you can have at any given point is 5 million. Season 42 had the most tower skins available in 1 month. The Clashmas Cake, Nutcracker, Clashmas Tree, and Clashmas Sweater. The Clan Wars Veteran Badge used to have 8 levels to it. However, after the community noticed that the higher levels were impossible to have due to how long Clan Wars 1 even existed, they removed all but the first 3 levels. All spirit cards are based on only 3 colors. The chest cycle gets smaller the higher you are in level. This is because at lower levels there are much more silver chests. About 75% of the chests you win are silver at levels 1 through 25. As you level up, you'll notice the frequency of these silver chests declines, and you start noticing other chests like gold crates and royal wild chests. Eventually, you stop getting silver chests altogether once reaching level 42. According to the Clash Royale website, the Prince and Dark Prince ride the same breed of horse. They also have been confirmed to be brothers. There are 37 loading screen hints that only show up to new players. Some arenas are decorated with Clash of Clans buildings that aren't in Clash Royale as cards. This includes the Archer Towers and Barracks in Arena 3, Spell Factories in Arena 4, the Gold Storage in Arena 9, and the Gem Mine in Arena 15. Elite Barbarians wear American football helmets in Touchdown instead of their regular helmets seen in standard battles. The safe found in the highest game mode has the highest hit points of any building in the game, with 16,020 hit points at max level. The kind of weapon the Musketeer is using is in her name, musket, but in the description it mentions an entirely different weapon known as a boomstick, which is slang for a short barrel shotgun. This discrepancy was most likely done on purpose, referencing a scene in a movie called Army of Darkness.
This is my boomstick!
This is also referenced in her banner decor, which reads, "This is her boomstick." Everyone knows that the more you spend in a pack of gems, the more gems per dollar you get. But unless you do the math yourself, the game never tells you what that increase in value is. If you're curious, the fistful of gems is 80 gems per dollar, pouch of gems 100 gems per dollar, buckets 120 gems per dollar, barrel 125 per dollar, wagon 130 per dollar, and finally the mountain of gems at 140 gems per dollar, which is almost double than the amount per dollar as the $1 pack. In the early days of Clash Royale, it was very common to get a tie in a match. This was especially frustrating in challenges because a draw would result in no loss, but also no win. This is why a tiebreaker system was put into place years later. The only exclusive tower skin to ever appear in the shop for repurchase was the Season 2 Castle skin. The card Mastery Task for the guards, Pain's an old friend, is a reference to a quote mentioned by Dr. Strange.
Pain's an old friend.
You may remember from a previous useless fact video that the names of the skeletons in the skeleton army all rhyme. Well, this is also true for different languages. I won't read them all, but I'll just pop a screenshot here of a few. My favorite has to be Portuguese: Tico, Teco, Taco, Toco, and Tuco. If a player collects the free epic card from the shop in Epic Sunday, if they're below Arena 6, the epic card will always be a prince. The first card to ever receive balance changes were the Witch, Mortar, Prince, and the Goblin Barrel. Not including temporary cards, the Golem is the only 8 elixir card in the game. Normally, a clone troop has 1 HP, so they don't need a health bar. However, if you clone a cannon card, it's different. Since it's a building, it needs to show how long it's going to be up, making it the only cloned card that has a health bar. If a giant goblin is at star level 3, the spear goblins in its back basically turn into level 6 goblins from Clash of Clans. This is also the case for a star level 3 goblin barrel. Before the Warbreakers were released, they were supposed to be a legendary card, but it was changed to an epic card once released. The bowler is voiced by Lucas Schunemann. He's appeared in many games like Marvel's Avenger Academy, Zombie Vikings, and Death Battle. There is a loading screen hint that says there are tales of a mechanical wizard from a distant land. This is a reference to the 2 barley skins in Brawl Stars, which are not connected to the Clash world. Brawl Stars is the distant land. The Skeleton Dragons, Elite Barbarians, 3 Musketeer, and the Barbarian Barrel all have one thing in common. They have the largest names out of any card in the game, with 16 characters, including the space. The Clone's card mastery task, magnificent, aren't they? Is a reference to a quote mentioned in Star Wars Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan Kenobi was inspecting a mysterious clone army.
Magnificent, aren't they?
Out of all cards, the goblins have the most emotes in the game. The Tornado is the only card in the game that can affect all 3 crown towers at once. Before May 2016, a mirror in a deck was ignored in the average elixir cost, as if the deck only had 7 cards. The 2016 bomb tower didn't drop a bomb once destroyed. What you saw is what you got. The Magic Archer has the same symbol found on the Town Hall 15 in Clash of Clans, which is also magic themed. Clash Royale in China has many differences, and we looked at some in previous facts videos. However, the game is still evolving into an entirely different thing, like their loot box system. There's a tab in the shop to purchase chests with keys that cost real money. These chests have more in common with the gacha system than they do with chests in regular Clash Royale. The chests also look different for the better, which is interesting. The Mega Minion was the first card to have its own special offer in the shop. There is a loading screen hint that says the wizard can control all elements except his hair. This is a reference to a pretty popular Clash of Clans commercial where his hair is crazy. The Elixir Golem's Golemites were originally supposed to fuse together to create one Elixir monster if they weren't defeated fast enough. Think of the Phoenix respawning, but Elixir Golem. Yeah, that would have been a nightmare. Luckily, this never became a thing. Another fact about the Elixir Golem is that it was supposed to be a true for Clash of Clans. The first card to be boosted was the Battle Healer. She's also the only non-champion card to play a death sound effect. The Zappies are the only non-legendary or champion card that fall from the sky when deployed. The Heal Spirit has received the largest percentage buff to a singular stat out of any card in the game, with a 225 damage increase in early 2021. The original concept for the Royal Delivery was a bomb that, when it exploded, spawned 2 guards. The Goblin Brawler from the Goblin Cage has a tattoo of a healer on its back. This can be seen more clearly in a Clashrama short titled The Lineup. However, the origin of the tattoo goes even further. A 2015 Clashrama shows a healer healing a goblin's back, exactly where the tattoo is. And this was before he went to jail and got jacked, so he just looks like a regular goblin here. The Bomb Tower is the only building that inspired a new building in Clash of Clans and not the other way around. The cannon turret the Royal Giant is holding is from a level 7 cannon in Clash of Clans. At star level 2, the cannon is also upgraded to a level 10 cannon. According to a TV Royale, the Firecracker was inspired by Penny from Brawl Stars, which has pretty much the same mechanics. She was also first called the Rocketeer, but developers didn't think it fit her style. The Giant Snowball is the only card with the word giant in it that is not a troop. The Furnace was the first building to be added after the game's release. The Mining Banner has a reference to the game called Deep Rock Galactic, where the characters often say rock and stone. The very first card you see in the game are minions, since your next card appears before the deck. In the Korean language setting of the game, the minions card description says, "Fly like butterflies, sting like bees," which is a reference to a quote mentioned by Muhammad Ali. You may remember that the default key emotes used to have 4 sounds each that they would all cycle between. However, years later they would get removed. But some of the newer key emotes are actually using old sounds. There was supposed to be a card called the Fire Knight that wielded a fire sword and a furnace in him. The concepts don't really explain what he was supposed to do, but it appears he spawned fire spirits at some point or another. In April 2022, the Clash Royale Twitter shares some statistics of how many activations the 4 champions had that month. The Mighty Miner having the most at 732 million activations, about 4 times more than all of the others. In 2016, Clash Royale would have taken up about half a gigabyte or less of your storage. Today, the average user reports it to be about double that. This is obviously due to the amount of content that's been added since then, but interesting numbers nonetheless. That is 20 minutes. Thanks for watching.